Who's that?
That's you.
Who?
You.
Me?
You're the big toe.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Welcome back. Did you miss it?
Like a bad cold.
Yeah. How much do you miss bad colds? Just to quantify this a bit.
I tell you what, this last week and a half, actually, it's been just horrible.
Yeah, I know. I'm feeling you. I think you still rebound quicker than I do. But.
Well, yeah, I eat a lot of ivermectin, and then I changed my diet to a vegetarian diet with the side of meat. But that's beside the point.
I was almost stunned there for a second. I actually turned to look at you because I could not believe what was coming through my camera. I had to look at you in person, but then you came back to me.
Yeah, well,
with a side of meat.
Yeah, but honestly, I mean, gosh, I sat down to eat one day and I like these fresh fried potatoes and fried eggs and sausage, and I was just like, and then. Like 5 minutes after starting eating, I'm like, I had to quit.
Really?
Just the texture and it just sat in my stomach, and the texture, I could feel the texture of the food in my stomach.
Ew.
And just wanted me to, it was not good.
Yeah, that was too bad.
So I've been eating basically small pieces of steak and large salads lately. I'm just like, that's all I can handle.
Nature's nature has got a conspiracy against you.
Apparently so. I got to tell you though, if it was indeed COVID does me a lot of good.
Yeah? Oh, yeah.
Because...
Take away the flavor.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I've actually lost 15 pounds in the last week and a half. So, and I'm going to try and continue that a little bit, see what happens.
Good.
But, COVID made me quit smoking too. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. That's right.
So, that's been a while now.
It's been a gift horse.
Mm-hmm.
And Portal Mom says it was nice having Sheldon come spend Christmas Day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he went down and spent the day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he decided to go down and hang out with the fam, so appreciate that. I'm glad you guys had a good time, Mom.
Yeah, Maggie remembers. Didn't everything taste like fish last time? Yes, it did. You're absolutely correct.
And Don and I are hankering for some fish. Like never. Anyway, welcome everybody. And as usual, we got a lot to get to. We're going to do the news. We're going to do some other odds and ends and the Cryptid Corner. And we'll see where the hell we end up. But I guarantee you it's going to be a fun fest of the imagination.
And I'll just sit over here being my quirky self.
You're so quirky.
You're quirky.
You're such a quirky man.
It's almost a 4-letter word.
Oh, yeah, if you couldn't
Plus
count.
a couple extra.
Yeah, if you're bad at counting, that's a 4-letter word.
Well, you know.
But yeah, we're gonna get to all that. So
I only have 9 toes. One's damn near falling off.
one's been beat to piss. Yeah. Your poor toe. You should
I can only count to 19.
maybe wear like work boots to sleep.
I don't know. It's horrible. Don't make me cough now. Or
You need
laugh
your
when I
steel toe
cough.
slippers before you go to bed.
Slippers, no doubt.
Yeah. Get you your steel toe.
How do these things work?
Work boot slippers. Yeah. Well, they keep your toes from getting mashed in the
Apparently
night,
so.
in the dead of night as you're fumbling for a bathroom. But all right, I guess we're gonna get to the news. So without further delay, let's get to the news and find out what's news. What's newsy? What's newsy? Does that work for you, Don?
Oh, you said newsy, not snoozy. Gotcha.
No, yeah, newsy. Yeah, I don't even know what to do with that. All right, there we go. Let's go to the
my
news.
job is done.
Yeah, glad to have you back.
I missed this music.
You missed it? No, that's okay. It's been here waiting for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk, where we do our best to illuminate the world for you and see what we brought up for you tonight. There's, I think, a few good ones here. I don't know. We'll see. The first one is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this is an absolute fun fest of the mind. Unexplained-Mysteries is a great site. Please support them. Please visit them and check out their pages and all that they have to offer. Because there's just so much more over there than what I touch on the shows. What happened?
I just read the headline.
Oh, yeah. No cheating, Don. No cheating. All right, so here's the first one from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this is the first article of the night on the news. Mystery object spotted over Air Force One during yeah, I can see why that's funny now.
Exactly.
Might be his IQ trying to catch up. I'm just kidding. Mystery object spotted over Air Force One during Biden's Los Angeles visit. There you go. There's
I see this picture, like you looking up at the sky, and there's a picture going around, and it's a picture of plane, right? And behind the plane, it's like this cutout, and it's the cutout of a plane that's hiding a UFO.
Oh, oh yeah. I've seen that meme. Yeah.
So that was his ride.
Yeah.
It wasn't a mysterious object. It was his ride.
Well, let's see what this says. It says the object was captured on camera during a live stream of aircraft activity over Los Angeles International Airport, or LAX, for those who are much more trendy. The peculiar sighting took place earlier this month in December 10th after U.S. President Joe Biden had arrived in Los Angeles aboard Air Force One. Brothers Peter and Joshua of YouTube channel LA Flights had been live streaming activity above LAX, including 2 F-35s being refueled by a KC-10 tanker when the camera picked up something unexpected. You saw that? We got something flying in the way, Joshua could be heard saying, and I'm not sure what it is. The mysterious object showed up, in fact, at least 3 times, prompting speculation from the pair and from the internet users who had been watching the live stream at the time. The repeated appearances of the object, coupled with its proximity to Air Force One, even managed to draw an interest of major news outlets such as USA Today. I'm kind of scared of looking at this, said Joshua. I'm not sure what this is. Could it be a balloon? I'm thinking balloon. Yeah, because there's just tons of those all over the place. You can check out the relevant part of the stream below. Should we check it out?
Sure.
Why not? So this is from LA Flights, is the YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. check them out if you're interested in learning more about what they do over there. But I'm going to turn off the volume.
Above, Josh.
I don't know. This is 8 minutes. Come on.
Wow.
That can't be.
That's got to be where this thing shows up right there.
This thing here? Okay.
Yeah, that's the marker.
Let's get to there. Oh, there. Is that it? No, that's just one of the escort craft there. We're looking. There's another. Oh, that might have been the refueling that they captured. Okay. Is there something going on here? Anywhere? This might be a really big waste of time. Yeah, I'm with you. All right. Well, there's 2 dots in there somewhere, ladies and gentlemen, or more. And are they UFOs? Are they shadowing the president, man? I guess, if they know what's going on here, that'd probably be part of their tactical advantages to be able to hang out and see what the hell's going on. So there you have it. What the hell was that?
Oh, I don't know. You okay?
Yeah, it was just a hairball.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I know
Got
how
a
that
whole,
feels.
I got a whole hairball up at once.
Going right
That's the good part, is that things come up. The bad part is it's during my show.
Jeez, yeah, no doubt.
So I don't think that's the good part, but what the hell can I do about it? This is live and unscripted. We have no idea what the hell we're doing anyway, but throw in health issues and my God, it's a regular circus in here. So, yeah, there you go. That's first news today. Make of it what you will. I think it's interesting, and sure, why not? President's plane is just as likely as anyone else's to be shadowed by a UAP.
Didn't Clinton have one that was like by his, when he was flying somewhere, he looked out and saw something? Or
Probably.
Can't remember what his story was.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of them.
That's true.
He had a lot of them. Clinton had a bunch of stories, but I don't know. It does sound familiar. As you're saying that, it sounds familiar, but I don't know. I don't remember the specifics if there were specifics to remember.
Pacifics?
No, specifics.
Pacifics. Do you know Pacific is actually a word? It's not
Sure.
just a name.
Well, okay. What is it?
It means calm or peaceful.
Calm or peaceful?
Yes. Look it up. Pacific means calm or peaceful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
There you go. You might have learned that first year tonight.
The peaceful ocean.
I was today old. Oh, so that's what the Pacific.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how it's the peaceful ocean, but okay.
I don't know.
Japan has a problem with it.
Well, yeah, there's other than the random tsunamis, once in a while, I don't know if it qualifies, but yeah. Interesting. I did not know that. I was today old, Don, when I learned that.
Sweet. I'm glad I can educate you.
You brought me some of the news.
How about just a little more light in your life?
Well, that goes without saying, Don.
That happens when you burn the house down too, dummy.
You light up my life.
Oh boy.
And give me hope to carry on. Never mind. All right.
God.
All right.
That's a do don't.
Yeah. You ever sing solo? All the time.
Solo, I can't hear you.
Oh, not that one, no. All right, Chris Carter reveals that Disney is working on a new X-Files reboot, folks.
What the hell? I don't want to see Donald Duck in an X-Files. God.
I don't even know. I don't know what the hell they're...
Gee, Goofy, what's that?
I don't know.
I don't know, Mickey.
Let's check it out. I don't know what the hell they're going to... This is again a great example of Hollywood has no ideas anymore. They have no good ideas anymore. And the only thing they're going to do...
Duck, yes. It was Howard the Duck as the cigarette smoking man.
Oh. Hollywood has no original ideas anymore, ladies and gentlemen. It is just the reworking of a ton of bad ideas.
Oh, jeez.
Well, and here's the thing. Here's the thing with this is that hold on, I gotta connect one here. But to rework the X-Files to me is just a ridiculous. This is not an old program. I mean, even if it was made in the 50s, sure, rework the X-Files. That makes a great idea. But it was the 80s and 90s, right? The 90s, right?
Oh, yeah. It was. It started up in like 93, 94, and it actually went for like 10 or 11 seasons. But they were like, there was like 5 or 6 years between like seasons like 5 and 6,
Yeah.
and then there was only like 10 or 12 episodes per a couple seasons,
Right.
and then like I think 2015 was the last set of seasons,
Right.
and so yeah, crazy.
It is. It doesn't make a lot of sense to it, but I mean, it's I mean,
it's
they're
not
talking
old.
about reworking
Yeah.
Harry Potter already.
Yeah.
And that's just, to me, is just ridiculous. Like,
Yep.
come on.
Yep.
You guys have got to come up with new ideas.
Let's
There's
see.
plenty of talented writers out there that could probably use a shot.
So season 11 was in 2018. And
Really?
there were 10 episodes.
Oh, that was the revisiting. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, and then there was a season 10 in 2016. There was 6 episodes there. So yeah.
Did you watch those, by the way?
I don't remember watching anything past
Right.
the original set.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
I did want to catch it because I was one of those guys every Friday night.
Oh yeah.
X-Files, that was my thing.
There was one there's one sound clip I use from Mulder. It's Scully and Mulder talking on the phone, and Scully says Scully calls up and says, "Where have you been?" And Mulder says something really freaking funny about, "Well, I was hunting Sasquatch."
Oh.
And I've used it several times in the episodes of
Oh.
but but that was from those later ones, and so
Gotcha.
very few of those that I've actually seen. But yeah, 2018.
Wow.
There were like 6 or 10 episodes.
Well, let's see what this says. And this is unexplained-mysteries.com. Chris Carter reveals that Disney is working on an X-Files reboot.
I'm sorry.
All right. The iconic 90s show introduced millions of the world to shadowy government conspiracies, UFOs, and weird creatures. When the X-Files debuted back in 1993, nobody has ever seen anything quite like it.
Nope.
Following FBI agents Fox Mulder, played by David Duchovny, and Dana Scully, played by Gillian Anderson, the show quickly became something of a pop culture sensation, popularizing the idea of government conspiracies and leading whole generations of people to declare, "I want to believe." The original show ran until 2002 and spawned 2 feature films before returning for a brief, though much less successful, 2-season stint from 2016 to 2018. Now, according to the show's original creator, Chris Carter, Disney's working on a new X-Files reboot helmed by Ryan Coogler, whoever he is, director of movies like Creed and Black Panther,
Okay.
Wakanda Forever.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Just lost any interest in watching it.
I just spoke to a young man, Ryan Coogler, who's going to remount the X-Files with a diverse cast. Carter told CBC podcast On the Coast with Gloria Marchenko. Okay. So he's got his work cut out for him because we covered so much territory. As things stand, we don't know much else about the show, or even if Duchovny and Gillian Anderson will be appearing in it at all. No, they're not going to have them back.
Oh God, no. There's no way.
No. From the sounds of it, the reboot will likely feature a whole new cast, perhaps with Mulder and Scully making a cameo appearance
Maybe, yeah.
to help pass the torch to their
Sure
successors.
enough.
Whether it will be able to recapture what made the original show work, however, remains to be seen.
No, I think they're going to rely on special effects and
Oh, sure. Yeah.
all of that.
It's just, they would have to have a hell of a character development and script writing in order to make that work. And it sounds to me like this is just, hey, that's a good idea. We could do this, when they're in a boardroom kind of thing.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what else to do, but we could do this. Okay, let's do it. It's the old music idea. It's like, if you want to make your band famous quickest,
yeah, you
just sample old songs.
you do like what Five Finger
Do
Death Punch
covers.
did, and
Yeah.
and what was that? Disturbed.
Yeah.
Sounds of Silence. Yeah, do all those covers. That's great.
Yep.
That music sucked then. It still sucks now.
No, I love some of those songs.
Yeah.
but,
Okay.
But I will say that it doesn't really. If you're already taking something that won,
Right.
it's not really yours.
Right.
You're just using your
just-
version of it.
You're standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah.
However, if Chris Carter's involved, though, Chris Carter was the writer of the original, the whole damn thing. So,
well, he's not though. He said he's heard from Disney. Is what he's saying. So, I mean, basically, they must have the rights to opt to do it, and they're exercising those rights.
Well, yeah. Well, they own 20th Century Fox, don't they?
They own pretty much everything. So,
yeah. Maggie's got it right. Pretty sure it was David and Jillian's chemistry that made it so good.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And when they finally, man, those two idiots just made me mad the entire ride. God, they were just so stupid for each other. I was like, God, kiss her.
Like, kiss her, God, kiss her.
Dang it. I can't do it. You might as well.
Nah, that would have wrecked the chemistry, though, I think. I know what you mean, though. There was that unspoken tension.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, but it was just like, yeah. So, there you go. That's another piece of news. You might not have knew, but now you knew.
Maggie says it's a reboo.
That's a reboo.
Reboo.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to do one more here in the news.
They did have a kid. His name was William. They had him very early in the show, like second season.
Who had a kid?
Julian Anderson. Scully had William, and William supposedly was a hybrid between her and and Mulder, and
gotcha.
the alien factors.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, here's the last one up. This one brings us back to another great old idea. Think Armageddon, and you'll be on the right path. And space and astronomy. Could a nuclear missile be used to save the Earth from a killer asteroid? Well, that's a great question. Works in the movies. How long? No, this is too long. We can read this. Scientists have developed a new modeling tool to help simulate the effects of a nuclear device on a large asteroid. In 1998, Michael Bay disaster movie Armageddon, Bruce Willis uses a nuclear bomb to break apart an asteroid that would have caused untold devastation had it actually hit the Earth.
Yep.
But could something like this actually be done in real life?
Yeah.
I'm going to say probably.
Yeah.
If they got it far enough away.
I mean, yeah. Theoretically, it works just fine.
But scientists have toyed with the idea of using nuclear weapons for planetary defense purposes for years, but it's been difficult to determine exactly what would happen if such a device were to be detonated on or beneath the surface of a large object hurtling towards our planet. Now, though, researchers at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, that's LLNL for any of you keeping track, have developed a new computer modeling tool capable of simulating a nuclear detonation on an incoming asteroid.
Okay.
The data it provides, in conjunction with the data returned by NASA's recent double asteroid redirection test mission, could one day, that's DART, could one day help us all survive a cataclysmic impact. If we have enough warning time, we could potentially launch a nuclear device sending it millions of miles away to an asteroid that is headed towards Earth, said study leader Mary Berkey. We would then detonate the device if either deflect the asteroid, keeping it intact but providing a controlled push away from the Earth, or we could disrupt the asteroid, breaking it up into smaller, fast-moving fragments that would also miss the planet. Ultimately, this is the information provided by such a modeling tool that could make the difference between finding an actionable solution and launching a mission that could fail to stop the asteroid. The more data we have and the more sophisticated the simulation, the better our chances. While the probability of large asteroid impact during our lifetime is low, the potential consequences could be more devastating, said LLNL.
Whoa.
You okay over there?
No, I almost had a damn heart attack.
You missed those, didn't you?
Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? Oh.
While the probability of a large asteroid impact during our lifetime is low, the potential consequences could be devastating, said LLNL Planetary Defense Head Megan Bruck-Seil. There you go.
I almost pooped myself.
I've got a turtle head poking out. There you go. There you go. So, I don't know. Could they do it? I mean, in the movie, obviously they drilled the device into the thing. Right. They didn't just bounce it off of it. So those are two very different scenarios, but it is interesting. Could they potentially just, work it into putty before it gets here, or could they deflect it? And then I don't know where it goes from there, but not our problem anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, is it Old Friends Day? Because Nessie's here and
cool.
MCAT's here and
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see you guys.
Must be Old
Thanks for
Friends
stopping
Day.
in.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, you guys have been missed for sure. So there you have it, folks. This has been the news, and I hope you feel. I hope you feel like you've been newsed.
I hope somebody knows CPR because that scared the shit.
Well, Don needs to go scrape. We'll be right back. All right, let's get back to it.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
There we go, folks. We are getting back at it here. I got to actually turn on the camera.
Habit.
Yep.
Turn your cameras on. Yeah, that's important.
Well, yeah. The dead screen rolled out. It's like, oh, yeah, I got to press stuff here, don't I?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got a job to do. Yeah, see?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so that was the news. Hopefully you guys learned a bunch of new things, and not all of them disappointing. The whole X-Files thing.
What Don looks like when he's
Yeah.
having a...
What Don looks like when he's puckering hard.
Oh, my God. That was it scared the hell out of me. I just can't help it.
I never did see where it landed, though. I didn't see exactly where it was, but there was an operation detected, apparently.
It was the right... It was like just to the top left corner.
Oh, up here?
That's the right. That's... Okay, so now... Well, actually, just to the center. It was like right in there.
Oh, so it was kind of back over here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Just next to my camera,
As long
probably.
as it stays over there, I'm fine.
Well, it's okay. We're okay, Don.
Okay.
I ran all the detectors on Saturday's show.
Yeah?
Passively during the show, and honestly, we had nothing trigger at all.
Well,
the only thing that was the yes/no detector, the pyramid.
Oh.
I said at the beginning of the show, I said, "All right, everybody, you ready to get going here?" And the yes/no said no.
Oh, really?
I went,
Negative. Nope. We're not doing this.
Yeah, it said no. But that was the only trigger all night.
Huh.
There was not another trigger. So kind of interesting, but I guess it was true to form. They weren't ready. And so, there was nothing going on.
Yep. They decided, screw it. We're just going to sleep through this one.
We're taking this one off. Have a good time.
Yep. See ya.
I hope you guys have a lot of great plans for the New Year's. What are you doing, Don?
Apparently I'm having dinner with the oldest and his girl, and
oh, nice.
Staying at home.
Well, that's wonderful. That's good.
Yeah.
It's a great way to miss all the idiots, right?
I don't know. They're coming to my house.
Or the one, yeah, I mean, it doesn't keep the ones that are coming over that you invited. No, I'm just kidding.
Right? Yeah, I get to control the idiots that come over.
No, your son's a great guy. He really is.
But yeah, so and so I didn't get to make my big old prime rib this year. So
you didn't?
I'll make it then. No, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, I got another prime rib, dude. You should have got one. They were $100 for an 18-pound prime rib, uncut. Got
18 pounds.
18 pounds.
$100?
$100.
What the hell was it made out of?
$5.99 a pound.
So it's made out of like tofu or what?
Dude,
that's a great price.
It's an awesome price. Yeah.
I can't believe that. Wow.
No, yeah, it's that Safeway for You coupon.
Wow.
It was originally $290 and it was marked down to $7.99. Then I got it for $5.99 because I got that special coupon.
Oof.
Yeah. So
crazy. Well, good for you. I'm glad you got it. So I got
so much stinking prime rib again.
Oof.
I only have the one instead of 3 this time.
Oh yeah, but that's still outstanding.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll tell you this. It's time for more of the portal.
More of the portal.
Because why stop when we're going so well? When things are going so well, Don, why would we stop?
I don't know.
We're going to go back to a thought catalog article we've been working through for a couple of shows here.
I wouldn't know.
What wouldn't you?
I wouldn't know which one you're working.
Yeah, I know. Actually, you would have to have been
I'd
here.
have to have been here.
Yeah, but they're good. These are near-death experiences people have had. These are 29 men and women who died and came back to life.
Oh, my
share
goodness.
exactly what they saw.
Wow.
And this article's by Eric Redding from 2016. This is Thought Catalog, and again, please support Thought Catalog as well. Another great site. We find all kinds of valuable information over there. So give them a support, give them a visit, help them out. But we're on number 25, so we only got 4 left. So this should go really pretty quickly. And then we'll probably jump into the cryptids because we love us some cryptids too. And God, we're doing good for time. We got lots of time. That's good because we got lots of articles to get through.
Sweet.
Lots of material. All right. So this is Thought Catalog, ladies and gentlemen. And we're on number 25, the sliver of nothingness. It says, I OD'd on some sleeping pills when I was young and stupid and heartbroken. I hadn't thought much about the consequences of what would happen afterwards, except I wouldn't feel this overwhelming pain anymore. The shock of absolute nothingness I experienced for a few moments brought me enough strength to crawl back into town and get taken to the hospital. The 5 or so minute ride to the hospital was me fighting it with everything I had. And every time I slipped over, the horribleness of it made me fight just a little bit harder. I was too exhausted to fight it once I got to the hospital. A preacher read me my last rites and I was out. Luckily, I woke up a couple of days later. I've been worse off emotionally a few times since then, but the doing myself in has never crosses my mind. There are no emotional troubles that are as awful as that sliver of nothingness that I felt. My life is great now, and I'm thankful I'm alive. I've experienced so many great things since then that I can't believe I ever thought I had nothing to live for. When I was coming to, which took a couple of days, I hallucinated my best friend trying to get me into trouble by making me get out of bed and seeing a little mouse in the corner of the room, which I kept trying to capture. My friend is still alive, and I don't have a special connection to mice. It felt very real, but obviously I was hallucinating. I can see how someone might hallucinate about things like deceased relatives. Well, really. I don't think that's all hallucinations, though. And mistake their visions for something more than a brain malfunction.
Right.
So obviously this is not a very spiritual person. So as far as changing my views on religion, I was fairly skeptical beforehand, but deep down, I hoped angels would whisk me away. Afterwards, I'm pretty sure this life on earth is all I got. Well, to each their own. I don't know. I don't know why. Well, I don't know. I guess if you were dead, if you were already doubting and you found yourself in that situation,
Right.
and all you felt was nothingness, yeah, I guess you'd probably walk away thinking there's nothing more.
Yeah.
But it does make me wonder about the whole idea of, the idea of organic consciousness versus NPC consciousness.
Right.
Is there some consciousness here on the face of this earth living lives parallel to our own, which are not actually organic souls? And I've heard that through the years. I don't really know what to do with it, honestly, but it does make you think, excuse me, is this one of those people that maybe isn't quite organic, but they're maybe more part of the construct? I don't know, because it still seems like very, very independent thought. But
Right.
anyway, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it.
Well,
I would love for people to walk away with from these experiences with very solid belief, like, oh, wait, there is a lot more, but I guess there's got to be a few of these too.
it's funny though, because, with that being said, we got a call today. I got a call. Well, I was told about a phone call that was received today. And, in talking about simulation and things like that, and talking about, and so add some AI stuff into that, and how, AI is going and all that. Somebody called and they said, "Oh, well, I'm supposed to do this there tomorrow." And it's like, no, you're supposed to do that in Coeur d'Alene, not up here in Sandpoint. Oh, well, Siri put me to you guys. I'm like, well, that's what you get for letting a computer think for you. And so, I mean, it's one of those, it's hard to tell, but there are some people out there that just should not be breathing.
Yeah, I might be one of them. If it wasn't for my calendar apps, I'd be absolutely lost. I'd be absolutely lost. I can't tell you through the course of doing the shows how many interviews I've absolutely just forgotten about.
Right.
So thank God I've got the setup I've got now, and it's not for lack of caring. It's just for lack of being able to track so many things in so many different directions.
Well, but that's different though. That's being overwhelmed at times.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, come on. I mean, if you're gonna let that happen, then you deserve it. That's all there is to it.
You're a little cynical, maybe. Yeah?
No, not
a little bit,
no,
maybe. Just
no,
a little.
No.
All right. Well, let's go to the number 26 on this article, and it says, "Needed to die to be reborn." So this sounds like a believer. Sounds like someone coming back, a real believer. I kicked it, and then came back.
All right.
I kicked it. Kick it. It's like Beastie Boys.
That's exactly what went through my head.
Yeah. Then the how doesn't matter, but what does is what I saw in the interim. As cliche as it may seem, I saw a brilliant white and walked into it. Inside, I saw my childhood home and my recently departed grandmother, and we talked a while, and she asked me a question that hit me like a ton of bricks. Are you doing something that matters with your life? Wow, that's a very profound question. When I was resuscitated, I came back in an abject panic. But the most pressing thing that was on my mind was the realization that if I had died at that moment, I would have left the world worse off because for having me in it. Back then, I was pretty much a crappy person to a lot of people and caused much more harm than good. After this, I decided to change who I was and make a life a little kinder. Right. I now work as a counselor working with traumatized children who have experienced abuse, and I've never been happier.
Wow.
I guess I just needed to die to be reborn. I'm still an atheist. I had a powerful experience and can't really explain it, but if I focused on that, I would be wasting my time on daydreams instead of doing what matters, trying to leave the world a little better than when I found it. And this is person 12345. Person _12345.
That sounds like an NPC name.
I think it's powerful. I think it's also kind of crappy that they didn't give us 29. They gave us 26. They ripped us off 3, Don.
Wow.
They stole 3. But here's the thing. I think there is power to that. Like, is what you're doing really, really important? Now, it's not that everybody has to be solving disease or doing these profound global size pieces of work.
Right.
It's just, are you the best person you know how to be?
Right.
Are you leaving people feeling happy that they had the moment with you? Are you leaving impressions of kind and warmth and goodness in your wake, or are you leaving burning corpses,
Right.
It's like, what are you doing with your life? And I think that's too many people just don't see the ramifications of the moments. Like, the moments are everything. Like, I think, I don't mean to be preachy, but this is just something I learned in my walk, is that it all gets down to moments. Like, your life is a collection of moments.
Right.
So you participate in those moments as best as you can.
Right.
And hope that whatever you've done in those moments
are counted towards something.
Right, mattered towards something bigger and more important and the whole picture. So, yeah, I think that's pretty incredible. But yeah, I think it's it's interesting stuff all the same. Did you like what little you got out of that article, Don?
What little bit? I think it's like you said, it's unfortunate that it took something like that for somebody to realize that they've been a shitty person.
Or crappy. Yeah.
Well, that's what it said.
Yeah, but. Yeah,
Oh, now you're going to get on me. You've said that word quite a few times. Anyhow.
No,
so,
I haven't.
Yeah, you have. Anyhow.
No,
maybe not
haven't.
tonight. Maybe not tonight. Anyhow. But, it's sad that what takes them to realize that that's the way they were. But, did you turn around and leave a little more light after that? Absolutely,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much light, just light.
Yep, just something better.
Yep.
Well, I agree. Okay.
And I don't care if you're an atheist, that's fine too. So, what's your point?
Yeah, I don't
be a
think it
dummy.
matters either.
Yeah. Don't be a dummy.
Yeah. You believe whatever you want to believe, but just believe that your actions matter.
Yep.
All right. We're going to go over to Sasquatch Chronicles and start digging into these because there's
Hey, don't we know that guy?
Wes. We do.
Oh, that's his name. Yeah.
Yeah, we know
Gosh, I've
Mr.
been
Wes.
I've been gone so long.
Yeah, you have. You sure have. But yeah, we're gonna take a visit to Sasquatch Chronicles blog here and start diving into some cryptids because by God, we love us some cryptids. Let me just look at something quick though, because I do have a couple other things pulled up that we could get into. This one sounds kind of good, right? Yeah, this is kind of cryptid. This might be a good segue to it actually. I'm gonna probably start with this one.
Sure.
Yeah, this is another Thought Catalog article, and this one is by, who's it by? It's by Holly Riordan. Holly Riordan, this is last updated 2019, March 14th, 2019. And these are creatures people saw with their own eyes. And these are pretty incredible. You may have heard some of these through the course of listening to the show again. These topics end up getting repeated all over the place, and there's only so much I can do to screen them. But this is, one that I dug up a bit ago and was like, yeah, we should cover this on the show. But since we just got done with the other one and there was 3 short, I think we got to hit this one first.
Yeah, absolutely.
This does look familiar though, like that. Even that artwork looks familiar. So we might have hit this one in the distant past somewhere, but. Well, I mean, my God, there's a lot of sites out there for paranormal, but there's a lot of sites duplicating a lot of stuff.
True enough.
And so if there is repetitions you've heard before, my apologies, but I do the best I can. All right. So these are creatures they saw with their own eyes. These insane stories from Ask Reddit will make even more afraid of the unknown. Well, that's what we do here. All right, some sort of humanoid stalked me from the woods.
Promising.
Yeah, good start. I saw a humanoid, something in the woods outside my childhood home. And this was rural northern Wisconsin, and I was 14. Up until that day, I had zero fear of the woods. I spent most of my time out there exploring and feared nothing. My parents had a lousy marriage and fought a lot, and I felt more at home outside than in the house. On hot nights, I'd take a sleeping bag and sleep on the roof of an old shack on our property. I saw a bear, I saw wolves, and they were always more afraid of me than me of them. I didn't believe in ghosts, Bigfoot, demons, or even God. I only got lost out there once when dark fell sooner than I expected. I stayed calm, found the North Star, and knew that if I continued south, I'd eventually come across the old railroad tracks near my house, even though the thought of spending the night out there didn't bother me. The thought of my mom's rage when I didn't come home did.
Right.
So it was summer. I just turned 14. My mom had left my father working all the time. Sister was living on her own. Once school was out, it was me and the cat, and this is before the internet and smartphones. We lived on a dead-end dirt road. Around noon, I took my usual stroll down the long driveway to check the mail. My cat followed me everywhere, and I actually kind of relied on him to give me a heads up if there was a bear or something close by. A bit of movement behind me as soon as I stood at the mailbox made me aware there was something across the road in the trees. But there were pesky deer everywhere. I heard a loud crash and then something very loudly making its way through the brush. It's like every damn classic horror story. My brain had no capability for the thought of anything paranormal or spooky, I simply tucked the mail under my arm and headed into the woods to investigate. My cat followed closely behind. I got about 10 yards in when I noticed what I hadn't noticed before. There was no noise. Nothing. It was a beautiful June day, and there wasn't a single bird singing, no insects, no leaves rustling. It was absolutely silent. At the same time I registered the silence, I got the eerie feeling that something was watching me. I stopped immediately and started scanning the woods for deer. Hunters know what I'm talking about when I say you look for the shape of a deer instead of trying to pinpoint them by color.
Right.
That's when I spotted it. 2 brown furry legs, the top of it concealed by tree branches. I went to sigh with relief when my cat hissed. I looked down, and he was completely poofed out with his back arched, looking at the same thing I was. I looked back up, and the legs moved. Not a deer, like a human. Everything happened at once after that. I dropped the mail, picked up my cat by the scruff, and ran for it. Whatever was out there with me was running after me. I've never run so fast in my life. I tore up the driveway into the house, locked the door, and grabbed the phone. I called my neighbor, who was the ex-chief of police, and he came over immediately with his pistol. He checked out the spot I was in and found nothing. I was so hysterical, I was in tears. He stayed with me until I was able to reach my mom and have her come get me. Of course, they thought I was completely high or delusional. I know exactly what I saw and felt. It was broad daylight. I never felt safe in those woods again and stopped sleeping outside.
Yeah, no doubt.
That was my That's Not What I Meant 84. Yikes. What is it, though? What do the legs look like? We don't know. There's a lot of things we don't know from that narrative, but something was there that's...
That was good enough to spook somebody.
Yeah, including the cat.
Yeah.
Let's read number 2, and then we'll get back to the cryptids, I think. We'll see how this one goes. Number 2, she watched as a bird transformed into a woman.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's not what you see every day, Don.
Nope.
I was a baby when this happened, but I believe my sister, who was around 5 years old at the time. My cousins, aunts, and uncles were at a birthday party one Saturday at my grandmother's house in Houston. All the adults were inside the house and around dusk, but the older cousins, aged from 4 to 8, and my sister were outside playing. My sister isn't sure who noticed the bird in the tree first, but soon all of my cousins noticed it as well. The bird was perched on one of the lower branches, just staring at them. Before their horrified eyes, the bird began transforming until it was a woman sitting on the branch leering at them. As they began shouting and screaming for their parents, the woman became a bird again. By this time, the parents had come out to investigate the commotion, but the bird wouldn't budge. Not until my grandmother, a formidable salt of the earth type of woman, went outside did the bird fly off. The house is creepy. It's still in the family, and I've had some other strange experiences, as did my mom. It was in the family since my parents were young teens. My cousin owns it now, and it's still creepy and old, and he doesn't really like living in the little yellow house either. In the beautiful roses my grandmother planted, strange things have been found. Animal bones, guts, melted candles, and other witchcraft type of things. A lady in white has been seen moving from room to room in the past by house guests. That was by Eva M15. Sounds kind of like a bruja, right?
Yeah.
Or is it La Lorna or bruja? Which one is it?
Well, Bruja is the witch.
Right.
But the Lorna is the banshee type woman.
Okay, so I'm talking about the witch, the ones that turn into birds.
Right.
Yeah.
Bruja.
Yep. There you go. Wow, that's creepy. I know we've read both of those stories before, so I'm going to hold there on this article and spend some time going through it to see if the rest of them are just repeats or not. But yeah, I mean, even the artwork on this page is familiar, so it's like, I don't know if this is right. But It could be one we've already covered. It could be just a reprint,
Right.
a rebrand of one we've already covered. But at any rate, very cool. So I still love the stories, but I just don't want to sit and feed you guys the same stuff you've already heard here. We're going to go over to the Sasquatch Chronicles blog right now. Again, special thanks to Wes. Appreciate it, brother. And visit some of these articles over here. And the first one could have maybe even been newsy, but it's more of a video. And I wanted to point this out to your attention. But it's apparently some investigations into the lifestyles of the Neanderthal. And I thought that would be interesting. I'm going to put the link to the article itself in the chats, both on Twitch and on YouTube, and you guys can check it out if you so wish. But it seems like it'd be good. So this is from December 27th. Surprising facts about Neanderthals. Weird History writes Neanderthals lived hundreds of thousands of years ago and one of the many ancestors to modern humans. The species went extinct about 40,000 years ago, although it continues to live on in DNA of humans around the world. Neanderthals have long been thought of as base, unintelligent creatures who dragged their knuckles and wielded clubs. Reddit says otherwise, providing a lot of information to combat this negative view. The subreddit Today I Learned offers some eye-opening facts about Neanderthals, many of which may surprise you. So, here again, this is a lot of times, I just want to point this out as well because it comes up quite a bit. A lot of times the artistic renderings of what Neanderthals look like are very humanesque, but that's not necessarily a very scientific rebranding of what they might have looked like. They very well might have looked more primate-y than humanoid. They very well may have looked more chimpish or something akin to what the Bigfoots look like today.
Right.
So there's no saying that they look like this, which looks like something out of Tolkien.
Right.
And may have looked much more like, Chaka from Land of the Lost or something,
Right.
Right? So it is, maybe it's just their attempt to humanize them more or whatever, but there's no real precedent for why they make them look very human like this. Other than maybe a narrative, I don't know. But at any rate, you can check out the actual video for yourself. I'm sure this would be interesting because there's some idea that these may be one of the predecessors, not only to humans, but it might be what has become Bigfoot. Yeah. And so maybe learning some archaeological history of what they have been able to glean about these habits of the Neanderthals might help understand the mindset of today's Bigfoot. So I'll put it out there for you. You can check it out if you want. Well, so let's see. That's the first one. Let's go to the next one here. And this is December 26th. This is an upcoming show. It may already be a show. I don't know when Wes was going to publish this. But The Devil's Woodyard. I think it is live now, but I might be wrong. What is today, the 27th?
Today's 27th, yes.
Yeah, it might be live tonight. A listener writes, on the rivers in the east, I had a couple of brief glimpses of Sasquatch. My neighbor had built a historical replica boat that I used to crew on. We ran mainly the James River in Virginia, but also a trip down the Greenbrier and the Potomac rivers. This was during the late 80s. On more than one occasion, I saw dark figures turning into the vegetation and vanishing beside the river bank. One time I remember seeing a hairy arm extending as though what I thought was a person made a step made while remaining in a crouched position. The creature turned like an ape or a person who has his back problems and didn't stand up straight. Thinking back now, I remember the solid black and the length of the forearm. Back then, I wasn't thinking about Bigfoot being anything in the East Coast area. I thought these were people at the time, but as time has gone by and I've learned more about the Sasquatch, I understand that what I saw were something other than Homo sapiens. Fishermen without licenses who fade from boaters. One day near the James, where the James passes between tall hills, with a steep bank on the north side, we had a large rock thrown in the river near us. When it hit the bottom of the river, it shook the ground enough to feel it. I have heard the splash and felt the vibration of the river bottom. That's a big rock. If you can feel it through the boat.
Right.
Something large climbed the north bank, up the steep and heavily wooded cliff. It made the earth shake, sounded very heavy. Heavy rocks crashed against each other. Trees or limbs broke. The boat kept moving, just a little faster than the current, with a couple of us propelling it with large poles. We thought it was some local people acting up. In that area, although not on the same day, I glimpsed what I thought was a man sitting right at the edge of the water. He was crouched down in the vegetation in the shallows. I assumed he was fishing. There was no fishing gear in sight. He looked like an Australasian hunter-gatherer. Mm-hmm. To me, I guessed he was living there in secret, fishing beside the river and camping rough. I glanced over at him, and he saw me as the boat flowed past, and I think his skin was gray like a bark of the willow bush he was in. In the dappled sunlight, I did not even see his body well, guessing his hair was either gray or white or clear. He was surrounded by twigs to the point that he really blended in. I saw his eyes were unusually large and seemed to be solid brown all the way across. His nose was wider than usual. He looked a lot like an artist's interpretation of the Minnesota Iceman. His mouth grinned a little bit, and that was the last I saw of him as the boat was moving a fairly good clip. Fast current in that area. As the river narrows, there's there to pass between the hills. He was very much part of the natural environment of the place. He belonged there in his home next to the swift current, and I was just passing through. Back in the late 70s, my friend and I tried to make stone tools, banging rock together. The ranger came and made us stop. The Shenandoah National Parkway campground was very full that weekend, and the outer loops were put to use. That night in the pre-dawn hours, I heard tree knocking that went on for a long time. Found out later that there was a place called the Devil's Wood Yard in that mountain because of the mysterious sound of wood being chopped, once known as Lost Mountain. The named had changed to Loft Mountain due to the similarity of F's and S's back in the 1700s when the first whites settled here. Gotcha. The next high point on the ridge was named Devil's Knob. Back around 1983, my drinking buddies and I took a keg of beer up beside the snowfield/glacier just west of Denver, Colorado in the Front Range. In the late morning, early afternoon, my roommate said, "Hey, look, it's Bigfoot." Up on top of the ridgeline were several dark shapes. They were pretty far away and above us in elevation. Looking through binoculars, I got a good look for a few seconds of the big one, which was lowest down. He was all black except for the red around his neck. I know now that the red around his neck was a deer. He was crouched and remained so as he moved with ease across the steep slope. The group was in sight for 10 minutes or so, moving around so easily in that icy snow. I thought they were not Bigfoot, but some really skilled mountaineers. They were the really cool people in their matching solid black suits. There was a fast movement at times in the group, looked like there was some tumbling going on or some ski jumping. We thought they were on skis or snowshoes. I told my roommate that they couldn't be Bigfoot because they only lived in the Pacific Northwest. So there I am looking at a family group of Sasquatches and still denying what I am seeing. I believe now they were driving game along the edge of the rocks and pushing up through the snow like teeth on part of the ridge. They moved from the left to the right in general, but had been pushing the game back towards the biggest Squatch, who was lower down in the ridge on the left where the rocks came to an end. He was there to catch whatever was pushed by the others. He had a larger than normal smile.
Sure.
Okay, it came back too far towards his ear, like smiling all the way around into his cheeks. The picture of on the cover of Us and Them is almost perfect match for the figure I saw standing in the snow, except the smile seemed wider. The big one was turned towards the north, quarter ways facing me about 100 feet below the ridge top, the lowest of the group, and they moved off to the north over the saddle out of sight. It looked like a mate and 2 juveniles were with them. It looked like the Winter Olympics up there for a few minutes. I think I saw deer antlers hanging loosely around the big guy's neck.
Oh my gosh, they're standing right behind you.
Yeah, there's all 3 of them. Yeah. Yep, they're hanging out. I think I saw deer antlers hanging loosely around the big guy's neck, as if the deer's neck was broken. And it was a long ways off. I knew I had seen the real mountaineers and set off to drink more beer and buried the memory.
Right?
Going back to my high school days, I smelled the rank smell and saw what was probably a squatch nest on the Appalachian Trail near Roanoke, Virginia. We went on a week-long backpacking trips for several years in a row there. This was probably 1978, making a sharp bend in the trail was a spring and some cattails and dark black soil. A nesting area about 5 feet in diameter was located right next to the spring. The smell was rank enough to notice, but not overwhelming. Also came across a place where large trees were pushed down, trapping smaller saplings in an archway pattern that left the area within the archway of trapped trees. On Virginia's highest peak, on the Appalachian Trail, some what we thought were trail cairns. What are trail cairns?
Trail markers.
Oh, okay.
Like stacked rocks.
Okay, gotcha. Confused us as to which path to follow and to stay on the Appalachian Trail. I never had heard of squatches making rock stacks back then, but didn't think they'd lived any place but the Pacific Northwest. The area on Mount Rogers was alpine meadow environment. No large trees in that spot to put the trail hash marks on. The trail confused us as there were stacks of rocks directing us to go onto a small side trail that didn't make any sense. Had to backtrack a bit to the previous trail cairn and ignore the turn to the right, and then got back to some more clearly defined trail in the woods with head marks once more. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of experiences for one person, yeah?
Well, yeah, and yeah, that's... I don't even know what to think about that, though, because I don't know.
Yeah? Is it too much?
I wonder, I would say, yeah. I say it's quite a bit.
It is a lot.
It's a hard one to swallow.
Yeah. And it's all incidental.
Right.
Incidental. Like, oh, I just happen to be here in this. And then I happen to be here in this. Right. And are they everywhere? Maybe. Maybe this guy's really good at seeing them. I mean, there's that possibility.
Well, okay, so I was playing around in TikTok and I came across Peter Kane, the dog trainer, Peter Kane. The one that's father had a Bigfoot in his freezer for.
Oh, yeah. That idiot. Yeah.
Yeah. So, he, oh my God, dude. That guy is so out there. And just everything. He sees everything. I mean, there's everything. There is nothing he hasn't seen cryptid wise.
Oh, really?
And it's just, yeah, he's had dogmen in his barn. He's had the Sasquatch in his freezer for 50 years. And,
yeah.
And then he's talking about these. Oh my God, dude, the guy is just out there.
Yeah.
And so he's talking, oh gosh, I don't even know. But there's just too much. That's the whole point. Just
right.
Too much.
Just too much, ladies and gentlemen. The whole orgy of evidence is the hard ones. Those are the ones that, is it possible one person has a ton of specific events? Maybe.
Well, we talked to Kevin Lang. Kevin Lang had the one he kept encountering.
Yeah.
Gleg. And but it was one that he encountered over and over again, not so many different ones,
Sure.
So yeah, there's just too much, and then there's too much. So anyhow,
there's too much, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, you know what? Today is Old Friends Day. Blue Cruz just popped in. Marlena popped in. Marilena,
cool.
Mary Bond. Wow, yeah, got a bunch of our old friends popping in today.
Well, I'm glad you guys are back.
Yeah,
thank you.
Hey, you know what? Quick shout outs.
Sure.
Quick shout outs.
Let's do some shout outs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got Aggravated Progressive, Blue Cruz, Chucky Danger. How you doing, Chucky? E-Revs here. Maggie, of course. Marilena, hi, how are you? Michael Salazar, nice to see you. Hi. There's Barb Mora. How are you? RJ Windwalker, Rachel gets it right. Ruthie, SoCal Squatcher, and Wizard Moon are all the only ones that seem to be talking and chatting right now. So they're the ones who get the shout outs. Aussie Tiger popped in too. He was here.
Aussie's here.
Yeah, Aussie's here. So
good to see you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, crazy. Yep.
Very cool.
So there you go. Those are some of the ones that are chatting away.
There you go. Well, thanks guys for coming back. It's always wonderful to see familiar friends and from the past come back and go, hey, I remember the show.
Right? Yeah.
Why'd you forget?
Right.
Why'd you forget?
How could you?
We didn't forget. No, it's okay. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in the interwebs, so
yep.
I don't begrudge people that have a variety of things they're doing.
K-Love just showed up or started talking. Lady J Homestead. That's not one. Why do I not know that name? Lady J Homestead.
Lady Joe. She's been around forever. Lady J Homestead. Sure.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Sorry. I haven't been around in a long time.
All of you, thank you so much for coming back. We've missed you. We're going to get to this next one. This one's kind of a lengthy one as well. Lots of words. Lots of words, Don.
Lots of words.
I'll do my best to read them.
Hi, Cool Hand.
Cool Hand. Nice. It's great to see everybody. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, if when you do the shout outs, if people aren't actively talking at that time,
yep.
It doesn't populate the participants list. So we try to give a couple minutes usually, but this time we just kind of ran at it.
Just head on.
We just ran at it. So yeah, no worries. We're just thrilled all of you guys are here. Thank you so much.
Crazy.
All right, so now we're going to go to December 26th from the Sasquatch Chronicles blog. And this one is another fantastic offering, I'm sure, but she immediately saw that it was not a person. Hi, I'm going to go ahead and apologize now for the length of this email. I've been going over what to say for months now, so bear with me. Please, I've been listening to the show for close to a year now and finally got a subscription a few days ago. Oh, that's cool. Congratulations.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I listen while I'm cleaning my house or driving around town on errands, and probably not your normal listener. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 3 girls married to a hunter, but I'm terrified of the woods. I mean, I will get that little panic jumpy feeling if I have to walk out to my car after dark. I blame my father and his love for all things Bigfoot. He just broke her. He broke his own daughter. I loved him so very much, but it's totally his fault. He lost his decades-long battle with depression in 2012, and my whole world stopped. I've searched for so long to find a way to connect to him, and this is it, Wes. If I had 1,000 years left on this earth, I could never thank you enough for this podcast. He was a Bigfoot guy through and through, and the only one I've ever known.
Wow.
I grew up with Sasquatch books on our family bookshelf, and I had friends over. He would be in the living room watching Monster Quest episodes. He loved Les Stroud, and it breaks my heart. He passed before Survivor Man Bigfoot aired. Yeah, that's too bad. As far as I know, my dad always had the Bigfoot bug. However, he did tell me a couple of times about an interesting thing that happened to him as a child. My family has lived in central Mississippi since the early 1800s. In approximately 1935, my great-grandparents bought several acres of land about 15 minutes outside of Louisville. They farmed the land and raised babies and grew up to build homes and a little ways down on that same property. One of these houses is where my dad grew up with his two brothers. It was a ranch-style home with a huge picture window overlooking the backyard. When he was about 4 or 5, so 1975 or 76, he was asleep on the couch underneath that window. He woke up because something blocked out the light coming in through the window. He said he saw the outline of something enormous and covered in hair. He covered his head with the blanket and eventually fell back asleep, but told me he was never 100% sure that what he saw was real or just a child's imagination. I still thought it was worth mentioning. A few years after this, maybe early 80s, was the incident. The room with the picture window was the same open area as the kitchen. On the side of the picture window room was the kitchen, and the other side was the door to the carport. That day, my grandmother was in the kitchen cooking, and my grandfather dad and uncles were around the other side of the house, opposite from the carport. The story goes that my grandmother looked up because she heard someone touch the screen door, but apparently saw that it was not a person. She started screaming, and whatever it was ran off. It was trying to open the door. Wow. My grandfather heard her scream and ran out to the house with everyone in tow. And they all ran this hairy thing off into the woods with their guns, and as far as I know, it didn't come back. Now, since I've been a listener, one major theme has stuck out with me in a lot of these reports. During dumping scraps. That's what my grandfather always called it anyway, and I don't know what to call it, what they call it where you're from, but they threw their dinner leftovers over the barbed wire fence about 30 yards from their house. Who knows how many decades my whole family had been feeding these things. Anyway, if you ask my grandmother about what happened, she'll just laugh and shake her head, but make no comment. Wow.
Yeah.
That's the scary part again. When they would try to come in, that's where it's like, oh no, this is terrifying.
Something serious going on, yeah.
Right, because they're beyond the whole people fear thing,
Yeah.
and what happens? They get inside and then they get confused.
Right.
Well, there's going to be a lot of hurt people,
Yep.
or
Confused,
worse.
scared, upset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those adjectives go on and on.
Right. It's terrifying. With that amount of strength and that amount of ability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's another one that says, I think my grandfather was feeding him. Okay. So this is another one dealing with potential habituation from December 24th. I think my grandfather was feeding them. A listener writes, I grew up on a property, and looking back, I would see my grandfather had habituated a group. Moving in on the land, he sat us down to explain his rules of living there. It basically all boiled down to one simple rule. Don't be on the property at night. Back in those days, kids didn't question. I wouldn't have anyway, since I'd already witnessed 2 red eyes that I spent some time staring into from the window. Found out later that this seemed to be an epidemic among the other grade school kids in that side of the county. Although my parents did really well at trying to hide the truth from us and play things off, this place was off the charts weird. Most of the friends I made only visited once and wouldn't come back. The feeling was tangible as soon as you turned to a corner of the driveway. There's never been a moment that you felt comfortable alone in those woods. Oh. From the voices, name calling, to the late night vocals, rock throwing while night fishing, and pine cones on occasion while hunting. Missing pets, tree structures, random animal body parts, discarded carcasses, the occasional stolen deer from where it fell after the hunt, which is what led to my eventual encounter. The smells, the lights, all the things we know about Sasquatch. Anyway, as I said before, it's a lot to share. My encounter is something I've never shared, considering the treatment I got for saying I've seen one. I've been binging on your podcast since I found it. I almost caught up with all the free shows. Hopefully after New Year, I'll be able to join. I'd given up on actually hearing from you and being able to share, but the situation has recently changed. A couple of months ago, my son was discharged from the Marines. He decided to return to my parents instead of my home. I moved away from home for work, and now my son is messaging me regarding the odd occurrences he's encountering.
Wow.
Wow is right.
So it's like coming down through the generations. Yeah. That's
Yep, exactly.
crazy. Yeah, but you know, when you're unwittingly feeding them, or in this case, wittingly feeding them, you're going to end up, you know, having an issue. I can guarantee it. It's like Bear used to say, you know, it's once you start, you just can't stop. And if you stop, it could be trouble. It could be big trouble.
Yeah, it really could be. Yeah. If they become used to you feeding them and you don't,
right?
That's the bad part. That's the scary version, because they don't really understand that. They think that you're, I don't know if it's like a disrespect to them,
right?
Or what it is, but they hate it when you stop feeding them, like a lot.
Yeah. They become a little pushy.
Sometimes they get habituated by accident too, and this is
True.
This is a story we covered a long time ago, Don. I don't know if you remember it, but it was this goat farm, and well, it's a farm, I guess, but they had a lot of goats, and the basically what was going on is they had these oats in just a flip top kind of container on the fence or something.
Okay.
And they would open it up, give them a scoop of oats to the goats and
right.
stuff. And they noticed their feed was going down and going down and going down, like a lot and fast. And so they're like, what the hell's going on? This feed is going way too fast. It's like the oats and molasses and all that. So it's kind of the sweetie treats.
Right.
And so they built they built another enclosure in the shed and put it in there. And as soon as they did, I think they were gone for a weekend.
Right.
And they came back, and I think they had like something like 20 or 30 goats.
Right.
And all of the 30 goats had broken necks. Like the whole herd of goats was just devastated. Like it killed every one of their goats because the oats were not there, and they were wanting their oats. And so they seem to have incredible tantrums, like horrifying. You know, it's terrifying. So that was not intentionally habituating. These people were not going out of their way to feed the Sasquatch.
Right.
It's just that they had made something so accessible for so long and then took it away. And so it was the same thing.
Right. Yeah, and absolutely. Well, it's like the one you just read right before about them throwing the dinner scraps over the fence, you know, accidentally habituation.
Yep.
Accidental habituation, but dang, it's just scary.
Yeah. It is, cuz again, they're so powerful. They are so capable, and they could just totally devastate us easily. Anyway. I guess we got one more here from Sasquatch Chronicles. Let's see where we at. 819. Yeah, we're doing good. Okay. All right, so we're going to read one more from Sasquatch Chronicles blog, and this one has to do with a Navajo Nation experience.
Oh.
And I don't know the meat and taters of this is, but let's take a look. And this is there. December 22nd, Navajo Nation experience. A listener writes, in the summer of 2015, I received an early morning call from a friend asking me for a ride over to his girlfriend's place. My schedule kept me up late, and I was bored, so I picked him up and his son up. His girlfriend lives 2 to 3 miles from my house near the river and at the end of a cul-de-sac, and they're the last house on the left. A large grove of cottonwood trees bordered the eastern property line, and the north opens up into a large field. He did not want to wake her, so we walked around the kitchen. She had a vehicle, a pickup, parked back on the northeast corner of the backyard.
Right.
We came around the corner, and I stopped. Near the front passenger side and behind the passenger side of the vehicle were 2 sets of enormous eyeshine. They were the size of reflectors atop of highway medians and gave off so much light I thought they were the source of the silvery whitish blue light. A sound came from the tree line, and it reminded me of a puppy protesting when it's being placed down after being held. There was a second sound coming from the sets of eye shine. I tapped the right shoulder of my buddy's son and asked if they had a dog, and he said no. But as it became clearer what I was witnessing, I decided to return to the car. I turned around and did not turn my head towards the tree line, but looked ahead because the night vision is better in the periphery, and I saw motion. The shadow was moving from the tree line along the fencing back towards the river. Another appeared to be switching places with it. I felt a presence, and it was huge. I felt like it was standing back near the large stump, coordinating everything. In my car, I strained to see anything moving by the fence. Looking behind me, I saw other movements, and it was difficult to determine at first because everything was backlit from the streetlights across the river. I rubbed my eyes to see if I didn't have schmutz there.
Schmutz.
But I had to refocus on what I was seeing, and the movement was 3 more sets of eye shine. The eyes were just as big and shiny, but they looked as if they were giving off the same amber lights, the ones on the street lights, as the one sees on street lights. Sorry. They were moving in an up and down motion, like someone pretending to go down in an elevator while standing in one place. Just then, my buddy and his son got back into the car. I said to them, "You either have skinwalkers or Bigfoot out here."
That's not good.
No, neither of those is good. "You're just seeing things," said my friend. "Watch, there are 3 of them behind us. 3 of them behind us, and let me show you." I put the car in reverse and came out of the driveway, backing up into the cul-de-sac. I flipped on the bright lights, and the 3 black mounts shone in the headlights, and I couldn't tell if they looked like mounds or dark compost or huge stumps. I dared not honk the horn because of the sheriff who lived next door. I thought about tossing something at them. "You're just seeing things. Let's go before we wake anyone up." We left and dropped off the son. An hour had passed. I scanned the area as we pulled back into the driveway. We walked up to the front door, and my buddy was worried about his girlfriend, being alarmed if we knocked, and she opened the door and asked if I would stand on the porch so she could smooth things over with her. I agreed and turned my back up against the corner where the garage wall met the door frame. The porch light limited my ability to see out, but I got the notion to called out, "Whoop!"
Oops.
Oh, yeah. No sooner did I complete the P sound, an organ rattling roar came across the darkness from the direction of the cottonwoods.
Oh, not good.
It was so loud, my whole body and entire body vibrated. I don't know how I got inside because I noticed the doorknob was missing, but I leaped inside the foyer and slammed the door. There's no way I'm staying out there. Something just roared at me. They stood motionless, shocked, and stunned as I was. No one said anything, and my friend started to flip on the house lights. He walked me through the house, opened up the garage door, and watched as I left in my car. I drove over to the casino just to be around people because it freaked me out so badly. I actually stopped talking to him shortly after this happened. I went back the day after to see if I was mistaken about the large mounds of dirt or stumps where those trees were moving, but there was no trace of darkened soil or anything that looked out of place. It appeared that they crouched down when I flipped the lights on and to look like something else. There was some odd thing that happened in 2017. I'll have to share that with you another time.
Wow.
Well, there you go. Yikes.
Yeah, 3 mounds of what looked like tree stump, and then it moved, and
Yeah.
and then it whooping back at you, or
Roaring, yeah.
roaring.
Yikes.
That's enough to have to clean some shorts out again too.
Yeah, that's enough to get you to re-examine your situation in a hurry, right?
Right.
Wow, that's terrifying. That is some real terrifying stuff. I just got to look at the time here. Wow, we're at 8:26. Can you believe how fast this goes?
Yeah,
Has it gone fast for you?
it has.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. It really is. Okay, all right. So we're gonna go over and make a jump. We're gonna make a leap
A leap,
onto phantoms and monsters.
kind of like an intuitive one.
An intuitive leap of faith.
Wow.
We're going to go to phantomsandmonsters.com, and this is Lon Strickler's site.
Lon's site, yep.
Yep. Lon's been a guest on the show before and had some great discussions with him, and so I hope you take the time to visit phantomsandmonsters.com. I hope you take the time to check out some of his reports that he has over there. He's got tons of reports of people having experiences there, as well as research efforts, his published works, and links to his podcast, which is Phantoms and Monsters Radio. And you can find Lon's YouTube channel as well, which is Phantoms and Monsters Radio. And that is youtube.com/Phantoms and Monsters Radio. So check him out. Support what Lon's doing. And special thanks to Lon for making this accessible to us as well. Here we go. This is Phantoms and Monsters Radio. New York deer hunter reports recent Bigfoot sightings in Oneida County. New York, Don.
New York.
Excuse me. Gotta wet the whistle. All right, New York deer hunter. Let's see what they got to say. That's, of course, up by our boys up there, the Blue Line Bigfoot.
Yeah,
they're up in New York.
And farm, too.
Farm, yep, farm's up there.
Pharmacy.
A New York State deer hunter states that they observed a possible Bigfoot in Oneida County while sitting at a spot watching for deer. The sighting lasted for 5 minutes. According to a Facebook group post, a deer hunter in upstate New York, which claims that she spotted a large bipedal creature that she believes was a Sasquatch. The incident occurred on November 22nd, 2023, so very recent, on some state land in the community of Steuben and Oneida County, New York, as posted on the Facebook page Bigfoot Researchers of the Hudson Valley. The unidentified hunter explained that the incident began shortly after she and a friend had settled on a spot to sit and watch for deer. The silence of the moment was suddenly pierced by the sound of wood striking wood, followed by several whooping, grunting noises. A screenshot of the incident report is posted below. There it is. The witness stated that the sighting occurred around noon. Do I got to read that? Is that what's? I guess that's the plan. I guess we got to read this. On November 22nd, while deer hunting with a friend on some state land, we got settled into a spot to sit. We started hearing wood hitting wood, which sounds completely different from stepping on a branch that breaks. Several whooping, grunting noises. Not long after that, we heard a large tree fall or pushed to the ground, and something was stomping through the woods, breaking large branches. At first, we thought it was a bear because it was so loud, like something big and heavy, or maybe a hunter, but we were the only ones there. Plus, hunters are trying to be quiet. All that noise brought us to our feet, and while looking in the direction of the noise, I saw a tall, dark figure shaped like a pillar. There were no shoulders, so I'm thinking it was a side view, and it was around noon. The pathway where the figure was standing was open and light up with daylight, and I'm thinking it was about 50 yards away. I was staring at it for about 5 minutes trying to see what I was seeing. The top where the head would be was turning back and forth. The reason I know is because there was something dark red color that kept seeing move around, and the darkness of the figure seemed to change like it was moving. I didn't want to take my eyes off of it. I was trying to reach in my bag to get my binoculars out without taking my eyes off it, but I couldn't get into my bag. So I looked down for a second, and when I looked up, it was gone. After we heard more wood hitting wood and the whooping, grunting sounds, both sounds were coming from two different directions. Then it stopped, and we moved in to a different location. It says the witness stated that the sighting occurred around noon and they were about 50 yards away. The creature was described as tall and dark red in color. It had been grunting and whooping sounds prior to the approximate 5-minute sighting. When the witness briefly looked away in order to retrieve binoculars, the creature was gone. According to the BFRO website, there's only one reported Bigfoot sighting in Oneida County, and that being a Class B from October 1972. Yeah, again, are they getting pushed? Are they getting pushed to areas where they may not have formerly been? I don't know. Makes you wonder. Doesn't it, Don?
It does make you wonder.
Yeah, it makes me wonder.
So, yeah, why do people? I don't, and you might be able to tell me why, but why is it so weird that people think that? Why is it so weird that there's Bigfoot in New York?
I don't know. I think anywhere there's forest, there's a possibility.
There's mountains. There's the Catskills, the Adirondacks.
Yep.
It's all over there. The Appalachian Trail. All of that is over there. And why do they all have to be in the Pacific Northwest? That's like, why? And it seems like every other story tonight has said, well, I always thought they were in the Pacific Northwest, not over here in there was one in Wisconsin. Yeah. There was ones in New York. I would have never even thought it was just one little spot.
Well, the only reason, that's something that I've always said, but that was because my introduction to what is Sasquatch was through Leonard Nimoy on In Search Of.
Right.
And where he was talking very specifically about the Pacific Northwest. Yeah. And so in my mind, that was where they lived. That was where they're found or where they could be located. Right. I never thought in the woods of Minnesota. Never. And why would you? I mean, I'd lived in these woods, right in the heart of this woodland for an entire generation, never having experienced anything. And then boom, one day. It was just boom, one day. And everything changed. Yeah. Crazy stuff though. Very crazy. Yep. But I think it's still kind of bizarre that sentiment still persists.
Right.
Like, well, no, they're just up in the Pacific Northwest. It's like, no, not for a long time. If you spend 5 minutes looking into this stuff, you'll know that they've been sighted everywhere. And I think to me that was one of the great epiphanies of all of this, was to know that they could be in the heartland of Tennessee, they could be in the the swamps of Florida, they could be in Arizona or in Ohio, where everything else is anyway. There's just so much places they can be and find and to be successful.
Right.
Yeah, I still think, and I'm always maintain that I think these are the most successful biological entities on the face of our planet. They can live anywhere. They can live at high elevation, low elevation, swampland, prairies, in the deserts. They can do just fine everywhere. And that's a title that can't be claimed, I don't think, by anything. And, some people say men, but we just repeat our comfort needs everywhere. Right. We're not really surviving. We're just, terraforming to a degree. Right. We kind of do. We kind of just create our resorts and stuff wherever we are, and then we're good.
Unknown says, "Thank God they're not in Canada."
Oh, wow. Wow. Boy, don't look into this any further. You're about to be really disappointed.
Let's see. Like, my concept of Canada is you either have Canada, Pacific Northwest, or you have Canada, New York. So we just got done talking about those two extremes. Yeah. So there's got to be Bigfoot up there.
Yeah. You guys are swimming in them up there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you, Unknown. But, yeah. If you just don't turn on the internet anymore, you'll probably be okay.
Yeah, it's fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news. Don't worry about it.
Did I really drink two waters? I did, didn't I?
Did you? I don't know. I moved that one. That was...
Oh, that's mine?
If you need to know. Yeah, I mean...
I do. I was like, God, I thought I grabbed two. Thank you.
There you go.
There we go.
Yup.
That just got a lot happier. Just took a little bit longer to be happy.
Almost 30 years ago. Oh, no.
What?
Well, Misfire Jack says, I learned about Sasquatch in my 20s, but hadn't experienced when I was like 9 or 10. I just don't know where that was. Oh, well, there's the answer to the question I asked. I said, well, where was that? She goes, I don't know.
Somewhere in my wanderings around the map.
Not sure anymore where it was. It was almost 30 years ago. Well, gosh, yeah. Well, try to remember where you were 40 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Mountain gorilla was a myth until they finally discovered it in the early 1900s.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and the panda bear.
Pandas are a great example.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
That Lloyd Pye talks about.
Yep.
60 years of expeditions.
60. I thought it was 80, but okay.
60 or 80, but at any rate,
It was a long time.
they were supposed to be this. They'd come to the conclusion that pandas were these cunning masters of their environment.
Only if you're a Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, and they were these dumb little bears living eating eucalyptus and stuff, and it's like, well, or whatever they eat.
Right.
Eucalyptus?
Bamboo.
Bamboo. Okay.
Bamboo,
Yeah.
yep.
So I don't know, but they managed to stay hidden because we're not good in those environments. We're not. We're not.
They aren't either. They can just literally roll with it.
I know, but that is where they live.
Right.
So they are better than we are.
Yeah.
And they're not good at it. You're right, but they're much better than we are still. And that's the takeaway, is that we get this arrogance, like, well, we know the world.
Right.
We know the world. We've been here for generations. Yeah, but we don't really do. We create our worlds in this world.
We change everything to meet our needs.
Right. So we make walls and put ceilings on and roofs and we put in furnaces and air conditioning and carpeting and internet, and it's like, yeah, we live all over the face of the planet, but we brought our world with us. But we don't know the world very well. We just know the parts where we actually exist.
It's funny though, because something's going to happen someday, and I don't think it's in the too far future, where the lights are going to go out, and we're going to get a real up close and personal view of what it was like before we had the lights, and people are going to be so unprepared. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting time. No.
Yeah. So bring batteries.
Bring batteries.
The takeaway is get batteries and buy a lot of standalone games.
Yeah,
Don't rely on internet games.
Card games, yeah.
Yep.
I'm a big card game guy.
Amen. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's crazy that it does persist. People still think of the Pacific Northwest when they think of big feet. But there's more.
Bigfoots.
All right, here's another one from Saturday, December 23rd.
Oh.
Noisy Sasquatch harass campers in north central Washington wilderness.
Oh, there's the PNW again.
Pacific Northwest, yep. At least this time it's accurate.
No, that's true.
Because they are here. A scary account by campers who found themselves in the middle of a family or group of noisy Sasquatch in the Washington wilderness. Kelly in north central Washington state called to tell us of his Bigfoot encounters. I had a few encounters with Sasquatch, a whole family of them, as a matter of fact. A friend and I found ourselves smack dab in the middle of Sasquatch country in north central Washington. We went 45 minutes to the end of the road and hiked 6 miles up and in and around, and we then hiked the 2,000 feet elevation gain. And by the time we got there, it was totally dark. I shined my light ahead of him, and I saw these red eyes right in front of him, like in the back. And I said, "Stop! Don't go that way." And it was right at the end of the cliff side. We almost got to where we were supposed to camp, and we went around the other way a couple 100 yards. We got to where we were going to set up camp in the middle of this clear cut because an avalanche or snow slide came through and took everything out. And right over there in the exact spot where I had just grabbed him, all of a sudden we heard a 300-pound boulder just like crashing through the brush. And it was just like a totally flat spot. And that's when it started. This pretty much left us alone all night. They pretty much left us alone all night. Okay. The next morning, we started hearing the rock knockers around us up on the cliff. We started hearing what sounded like 300-pound giant woodpeckers, and I figured it was them, like they were making this noise with their throats, but really loud. And then they were moving around a lot in the woods, but we couldn't see anything. Then we heard him, like the screaming howler, the Big Daddy, coming up the valley, letting out this roar every minute for a half an hour straight.
Wow.
He would scream for 30 seconds. He sounded like the Westmoreland PA howler, if you've ever heard that. We hiked out of there and they let us go. Source was Midnight in the Desert with Art Bell, December 14th, 2015.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, granted, I don't think they go out of their way to hurt us. They don't seem to do that intentionally. They just want us gone.
They just want to watch us react.
Yeah, that could be too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because you've said it many times, we are their reality TV,
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, I think there's merit to that. I think that's whatever's going on in our world, it's colorful. It's stimulating. And I think, if you lived in the woods all your life and what you saw was the woods, somebody comes with LED lights and sounds and devices. It's like, whoa, what the hell's that? It's going to look like a fireworks show. So they would probably come check it out.
Yep.
I do think that it's very clear that you're probably never going to sneak up on them. Like you're never going to,
No.
you're never going to surprise them. Like, let's sneakily come into this campground, this area, and where a lot of sightings have happened. And we're going to just surprise them by being here. Well, they already know you're there. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Now, some of it could be esoteric. Like they could just psychically know we're there. Maybe there's a psychic variable to this where they pick up on our vibration or whatever. Also, it could just be as simple as knowing the sounds. Like if you're ever in the woods and you have a crow nearby,
right?
Oh my God, crows are about the most annoying, rambunctious birds to be following you.
They certainly can be. Right?
Rah! And they know the sounds of their home. They know what the sounds mean.
Right.
And so they listen and they watch. And they could zero in on us in a heartbeat. Even something so simple as like a squirrel barking.
Right.
They got that weird barking sound.
Right.
But it almost sounds bird-like. But if you know what to listen for, you know that a squirrel's being agitated by somebody being too close.
Right.
And those things are, it's a part of their world. So the same way you might know, hey, my hot dog's done. It's the timer's going off on the microwave. They know that's the sound of their timers.
Right.
Like, hey, someone's over there because something's barking. So they move in and they're masters of their domain. They know how to traverse things quickly and quietly and gracefully. So I just don't think we're going to sneak up on them. But the best bet is to just go there and be there. And you're probably going to look pretty interesting. They're probably going to check you out just because there's not a lot else going on. I just don't think, people are ever going to get the element of surprise.
No.
Not 99% of the cases anyway.
99.9.
Yeah, even more.
Yeah, if you get the drop on the Bigfoot, he's probably half dead anyhow. So yeah, just go ahead and tick him off, scare him, put him in under more stress and see what happens.
Right.
Go for it. Yep, have fun with that.
Hats off to all of you, that are out there looking. I think it's cool, and I think that's you guys have brought back some pretty incredible stuff.
Right.
It's just I think if you let them find you, they're going to show you probably a little more than if you do manage to surprise them. That's probably not going to be a good thing. It's probably not going to be a real positive experience if you somehow manage to surprise them anyway.
Right.
They're probably going to be pissed. It's like, how did you get here? Then the boulders come.
Right.
So anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of 300-pound boulder, that when we were out at Bloom Lake, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
That thump.
So Don and I went out and checked Bloom Lake, which is an area near here, where they had a BFR report of somebody sighting a Sasquatch back in the, what was it, the 90s?
Yeah, like early 90s, yeah.
Early 90s. So Don and I went up there. Oh, thank you, Planet X. So Don and I went up there, and we didn't realize it, but the campground was closed. But all that was standing. We'd kind of hiked around, and we did talk with a few people in the area. And we were standing by on a logging road, right where his truck was parked. And suddenly, it was like we both were just standing there. And as much as you heard it, you felt it.
Felt it, yeah.
Something going, just something big hitting the ground. And it didn't really make a sound. It was like a muffled
Yeah, just
thump.
Thud. Yeah.
But you felt it in your feet too. And there's something about the soil up here, and I've noticed that everywhere I go like mushroom hunting and stuff. Is
Right.
you really? I mean, the ground really does.
Carries vibration.
Right. It really does. It's like a network of its own. It's pretty crazy.
Right.
But that whatever that vibration was, it's carried to us. And both Don and I were like, probably should go.
Well, let's go.
Yeah, we probably should go, and we did, and when we did go, and we left, but I mean it was just a one-off thing,
Right.
but it was very strange, very unusual, and it was when we were poking around, so maybe they didn't like us being there, maybe we were getting too close, whatever, but yeah, that was the thought I'll never forget, Don.
Right. Yeah. That's one of those experiences there. And we were just talking before the show, like when we went with Charles and we went to D-Max and
Right.
And stuff like that, and how it sometimes feels like I kind of drive these energies away, right?
Sure.
But that one's kind of an unexplainable one that I kind of have to figure that maybe there was something there.
Yeah, I mean it
That
was
was
just
kind of undeniable.
it was just a thump, but it was like the one sound that really said a whole bunch.
Right. Yeah.
And we both got the same idea, like, yeah, let's probably get going. Yeah,
Yeah, here's my truck. Let's go. let's jump in this thing.
let's go and leave. So we did, and we never had any proof positive of anything, and that was maybe the only thing that happened all day.
Right. Yeah.
But it was just that it happened, and it was like, wow, yeah, I don't know if that's a good sign. Like it was up in a tree, watching us, and jumped down and made a good thump.
Oh, RJ, you're RJ says gift him a chocolate laxative.
Did you see what Chucky wrote?
No,
Scroll up and find what Chucky wrote.
Oh, jeez. Pot brownies.
Chucky wants us to gift him pot brownies. Well, I'll be watching cartoons together at the end of the day.
No, just chuckling. Hey, did you see that?
There's a 800-pound squatch on my couch.
And he looks over and he goes, "Got any jerky?"
Yeah. Got a cereal?
Yeah, no doubt. How about some Oreos?
Yeah. Messing with Squatch, the pot brownie version.
Right.
That's right.
That's not good.
Not at all, but very cool. I tell you,
That would be funny.
that would be hilarious. But anyway, I don't know. I mean, I think getting out there and looking for answers is fantastic. I don't begrudge people do that. I don't pretend to know what it is we're looking at. We don't know behaviorally much of anything other than, there's some shamanic beliefs, there's some spiritual beliefs,
Right.
there's some terrifying beliefs
Right.
of what these things are. And you gotta, when you're looking into these dark things, you gotta know that you're kind of taking your life in your hands, because we don't know anything.
Yeah.
And so all I can tell you is, God, be careful. Go in there with as much protection as you can.
Right.
God forbid you'd ever need it, but God forbid you didn't have it and you did need it.
Right.
Because that's the thing. They would totally space out and not be as aware.
we could only hope. Hey, let me take a picture of you.
Yeah. Selfie time, Squatcher.
Hold still.
Ooh, yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Totally. Yeah, we'll just get selfies with Squatch.
Right.
Orchestra.
Orchestra.
Yeah, we could orchestrate that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I imagine we live next to Washington State. So,
Right.
so it's, at least the raw materials are close at
Yeah,
hand.
45 minutes and I can be back.
Yeah, exactly. And Don, you can whip up some brownies, I'm sure. So,
Oh, yeah, I know somebody who could. That's for sure.
so Don and I would plan this huge expedition to go do some pot brownie research, and we probably wouldn't end up leaving the living room.
Yeah, probably not. hey, how'd the expedition go?
It's going great, man. It's going great.
Couch is really comfortable. Yeah.
I'm going to check a different channel now. See if they showed up yet.
Did somebody just knock on the back door?
I don't know. It's anybody's guess. Yeah, not the laxative one though, man. I'm telling you what. According to the smell reports I've heard, you don't want to know what comes out of there. You just best to leave everything in there as it is.
No doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be that'd be a revelation nobody needs.
That would be a good idea, Ruth. We got to leave it to. We got to give it to our chatters. They occasionally come up with some really good ideas. Like Ruthie just said, "Hey, can I have a hair sample?" Yeah, well, we wouldn't think of that at the time, I'm sure. We've got a whole list of things on the wall that we're supposed to ask. Did we look at the wall? No, we probably looked right through the wall.
Yep, watched it melt or something. Yep. Yeah, anyway.
Man.
I tell you what, folks, it's always an epic journey here on the portal, and I always have a lot of laughs with you guys. I'm glad you showed up, and I hope you're all doing wonderful out there in this wonderful holiday season.
Yep.
You got plans for New Year, Don?
Nope, just quiet. Like I said, the kids didn't come over, so we're probably going to see them on Sunday and have a good dinner and just kind of pass the time. Sounds like a good thing to me.
Yesu says, my dad has a picture of a rock thrown at him, and he said it made a thud when it hit.
Yeah.
It was about the size of a cantaloupe. Jeez. Wow. That's a big rock.
Yeah, it's a small cannonball.
Think about the, I don't know if you guys had them up here, but in Minnesota we had like track and field day.
Oh yeah.
Like a little mini Olympics.
Yeah.
And I was like one of those idiots figured I'd be a shot putter.
Right.
And I sucked, and everybody sucked. But shot put is what, about
5 feet? Woo.
12-pound ball?
Right. Yeah.
And that's, you think about a cantaloupe sized rock.
Right.
And that's got to be in the same area. And you look at those like Olympic athletes throwing that thing, they can maybe get 25, yards or whatever. They're getting some huge distance, but some of these rocks that are reported throwing, they're like basketball size, and they're traveling 100+ feet.
Yeah.
And with precision, and it's absolutely scary just how much strength you're dealing with there. Wow. I just think about that.
Yeah.
Goes chili peanut butter. Oh my God.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
Somebody's just being mean. Oh, SoCal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just being mean now.
Yeah. I was 12, so I didn't know what I was doing. Like, it's like 8 feet. It's like, God, this sucks. I'm not a good shot putter. So I didn't pursue shot putting.
No, yeah, no.
That was it kind of killed my Olympic dreams before they started.
Yeah. Throwing a baseball was my downfall. So
I'm
used to throwing things, but not that big.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I tell you what.
Right.
I'm telling you what, we're about at the end of tonight's journey. There's not enough time to grab into anything new. No. And all of the love and dialogue is just wonderful as well. But we're going to call this a night, folks. I hope you all are doing great. And again, remember, we're going to do the member show tomorrow night. We'll do a member get-together and then continue on to Friday and Saturday night as well. But, Don, you'll be back next Wednesday, right?
I plan to, yeah. I plan to.
All right. So, anything you want to leave the folks with?
Don't forget, I guess we had some traction on our Teespring.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, I sent you a thing, so you'll see that.
Oh, okay.
But Teespring, always remember. Somebody just said they have to get a new, I think it was the Unknown, said they had to get a new shirt. And somebody bought the Black Eyed Kid shirt, one of the Black Eyed Kid shirts. So there you go.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, nice.
The link to that is in the description, folks. So on YouTube anyway, if you're watching on Twitch, head over to the YouTube and check out that. But I can't remember the URL is because they changed all the URLs.
Yeah,
I used to know the URL, but then they changed the format. Right. The old format will still work, but
it'll get you there.
Yeah, it'll get you there. But anyway. Yeah, we love all the love and support. Thank you to everybody and all your love and donating your time, donating your monetary resources, donating your love and support of this incredible dream called the Paranormal Portal.
There you go.
And so I'll be back tomorrow night. We'll dig into some members time with y'all. And until then, I guess that's it.
There it is.
There it is. As Don said, there it is, folks.
Happy Hump Day.
Happy Hump Day.
Hump Day.
All right. I'm going to roll the credits, folks.
Roll them.
We'll see you tomorrow night if you remember. Friday if you're not. But either way, I'll be here both days.
Good night.